Now, Louis the Osprey, who became an online star during the first COVID lockdown, has surprised fans by returning to his nest at Loch Arkaig in the Highlands much earlier than normal this year. He landed last Thursday, and now his mate Dorcha has also come back to the nest much sooner than expected. And there's been yet another surprise this week. George Anderson is from the Woodland Trust, which has been operating a live nest camera at Loch Arkaig Pine Forest in Lochaber since 2017. Hello, George.
Hi there.
Must have been nice to see the birds come back so early.
Well, it kind of ruined my Easter holiday weekend, to be honest. We were kind of thinking we could be relaxed, and not have to be watching the cameras. But he turned up, and then she turned up. We'd normally really not been expecting her. Her earliest has been the 9th of April in the past. So right. The fact that they both arrived in March caught us on the hop, and a lot of the people who are fans of the nest.
Does this suggest that they travel about together when they're not at Loch Arkaig, or not?
No, they don't. One of the things that people find really hard to accept about ospreys is that at the end of the breeding season, all the birds, including the youngsters, all migrate south on their own. And the youngsters at that point have to work out how to fend for themselves, how to fish and look after themselves. And the parents will not have anything to do with each other until they're back at the nest the following year. So it's actually even possible. We don't know where Louis and Dorcha spend the winter. They're not tagged in any way. But it's actually possible they're on different continents over the winter. But they come back together in the Highlands in summer to produce their family, and that's the family time together. And we get it all on our camera, which is tremendous.
Yeah, and have they been a successful breeding pair?
They have. They've overall, Louis has been a bit of a wonder dad. He's a really good provider. There's I think we've maybe had a couple of days in all the time we've been watching him that he's not brought fish in. Every other day there's been fish arriving. So I think they've produced 6 or 8 chicks over the time. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but 12. It could be 12. Right. Half of the eggs laid have gone the distance as chicks over the time, so they're doing pretty well at that.
And what's the other surprise?
Well, the other surprise is that Louis is now on his second nest, and he left behind another nest in 2021, which has been empty since then. But there has been a few birds that have looked in there over the years but not committed to it. And one of those from previous years turned up yesterday. So we call him Prince because he was the young pretender to Louis' throne.
Was he a rival?
I decided, well, he was a rival at one point. Louis chased him off one year when Louis was using that nest. But since Louis has moved, we think this bird might have bred elsewhere with a female somewhere in the district. But they keep coming back and checking this nest out. And last year there was actually that male, another male, and a female all kind of hanging around that nest, and we think some combination of the three, we call them Gary, Afric and Prince, might settle in that nest, and that would give us 2 osprey families on live stream.
Exciting stuff.
And actually very complicated to keep track of.
Well, you can keep track online. George, thank you very much indeed. That's George Anderson from the Woodland Trust.